Hey, what's going on? It's Matt. I've got another two 3400 Plano kits that I wanted to show you real quickly. Sit tight. So a couple of weeks ago, I actually highlighted and showed you my 3400 first aid kit that I made for the kayak. Now, I had mentioned in that video that I've made a couple of these kits, and I want to show you those real quickly today. I want to do a real quick disclaimer though. I am not one of those guys that reinvents the wheel. That being said, both of these kits are actually stripped down versions of the B.O.S.S survival kits. Now, if you're not familiar with the B.O.S.S survival kits, I'll put a link down below in the description. You should really check them out. They are hands down the most cost-effective and the best quality that I've ever encountered for put together survival kits, and they're only about 25 bucks. Stanford Outdoor Supply does them. They're rapidly delivered and they're just fantastic. Now, the reason why I stripped down these kits and put them in these 3400 Plano boxes is because, as I mentioned, these things are waterproof and they're a little bit smaller than the actual packaging. The actual packaging that the B.O.S.S comes in is a Mylar bag, which is great, but at the end of the day, there's a reason why I use these, not just because they're waterproof and they float, but I like to put Velcro on this, and I'll show you the bag and the integration that I do with my bug out bag with the hook and loop system that I have in there. So all that being said, let's just jump right into the fire kit. Now, like I mentioned, I took some things out of these kits, things that I just didn't think that I would use or were necessary, or that it would be just another redundancy that I would have on me. So when I show you these things, I'll do my best to highlight what I left out of the original kit so you know what kind of comes in the full kit. So to start off with everything in the fire kit, it is steel wool. Now, if you're not familiar, steel wool is fantastic to start a fire with if you have batteries. Most people think that you just need a 9-volt. In all honesty, you can do it with 2 AAAs or 2 AAs. You just need to have some duct tape and a long enough strand. The reason why you need 2 of those particular brands of batteries or sizes of batteries is because you need about 3 volts to do this stuff, and each one of those small batteries is about 1.5. So if you tape them together in the middle and you connect the steel wool, it will start a fire. Dave Canterbury did it, so I know it's true. Next is some quick tinder. You've seen these before. I have this in my survival kit. You just fluff these out. They take a spark with really good kindling. This is Kevlar string. Now you're probably saying, why do you need Kevlar string? Well, included in this kit is a little ball bearing. And what this is both used for is to create a bow drill. If you ever created a bow drill or used a bow drill, you know that it is friction based. You're going to put that vertical piece of wood in there, and if you have a ball bearing, it just makes it that much easier for it to spin on top. Sorry, this would be on top. And basically you could palm this and it'll spin in your hand. And the Kevlar string, well, it's just that much stronger of a string. You don't have to use a shoelace, which could possibly break. And it just kind of ensures you keeping that friction going when you're trying to get that fire started. Some jute twine. Jute's a great tinder material. I honestly am not a big fan of it, but it's in there, and if it's kept dry, and in a rainy situation like we are in Northern California right now, it's a good thing to have. Some char cloth. Now I feel kind of stupid getting this because I make my own char cloth, but it came in the kit, and honestly for 25 bucks, everything else is just, it's a bonus. Some fat wood. Stuff that I can never seem to find. Fat wood. Fat wood is usually pine wood. It is impregnated by nature with natural resins. It's all dry, and what they give you is a little pencil sharpener, and that little pencil sharpener and the way that they cut this fat wood are perfect for shavings, and it just gives you this incredibly fine tinder. You throw a spark on it and it will ignite. Waterproof matches in a sealed bag. There's a ton of them in here. So much so that I took it in and I put it out in one of my other cases. A small Bic lighter. You can't see this, but or maybe you can. There's a little string that goes around it. And the reason why that is so the gas doesn't come out. 2 tea lights. My favorite thing in the world to start a fire is wet fire, and they give you one. And you may be asking, why are there red pills in there? This is actually magnesium powder in a pill form. You would crack this open, throw a spark on it, and basically, boom, instant fire. I actually really want to play with those, so I'm going to have to book a hiking trip sometime soon and use them. And how would you throw a spark? Well, they are kind enough to give you a very decent size fire steel with striker, which I think is great. You know, a lot of times when I'm walking around, I have a knife on me, but I don't have a knife with a 90-degree back on it. And sometimes finding a striker for a ferrocerium rod is actually kind of difficult. And last, there is a magnifying glass. If the sun decides to show its face, you can use it. So what did I leave out? Well, they included this little kind of little saw, and I thought that was really kind of, it was nice, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to use it, so it didn't need to go in the kit. And they also provided a little knife, and the knife was Chinese made and it was cheap, and I wasn't expecting anything nice. But I got rid of that as well. And that's what's in the fire kit right now. It fits very, very nicely into these 3400 cases. And like I said, I didn't create this from scratch. I stripped it down. On to the fishing kit. Now this is a fishing and hunting kit. I am not a hunter. Do I know how to trap? No. Do I know how to create a deadfall? Yes. Have I ever caught anything in a deadfall? No. So it's a fishing kit in my opinion. There are some ball bearings. And there is this cord, which essentially is the ability to make a slingshot. So you can kill Mr. Bunny Rabbit. This, when I first saw this, I didn't know what it was. It is essentially a fish stringer. And you can string up fish if you're in a lake that has a ton of trout and you want to keep them in the water and you don't want them to get them loose, string them up. This is some bank line. Bank line, if you don't know what it is, it's tarred line. The great thing, you know, the reason why you want it tarred is because it doesn't slip and it's strong enough. It's not weight bearing, but it's good if you want to run a ridge line. Or actually, you know, I've been thinking about this, if you want to kind of rig up some sort of fishing pole at night, this would probably work and you can get away with it. Now in here are little eyelets and they're safety pins. Now the eyelets, I really was like, what am I going to do with eyelets? And then I kind of put 2 and 2 together and I realized what they were trying to do. The eyelets are for literally creating a fishing rod or some sort of fishing platform. So if you have a branch, you can screw those eyelets in and run the line through, which they are kind enough to give you a decent spool. This is monofilament. It's about 8 pounds. The fisherman in me inherently tells me to change this out and to make it smaller, but since it's like this already, I'm not going to mess with it. And they also do give you some braided line, which is great. You know, I don't think a trout's really going to rip off braided line, but having extra line or any kind of material that you can tie that's strong is never a bad thing to have. Some floats. An assortment of grubs and eggs. Now, I'm not a trout fisherman, so I don't know. I was told these things work. Snare wire. Now, like I said, I don't hunt really. Do I know how to make a snare? I have a good idea. I kept this in here because it's heavy duty wire. It doesn't hurt to have it. And it's in this little kit that I stripped down and remade. In here, you have every kind of little split shot weight. There's hooks, there's little jig heads in there. If you can see that, it's all put away nice in a nice little neat little package. And this is really kind of what got me excited was the yo-yo fishing reel. It's the yo-yo fishing reel. So this is a yo-yo fishing reel. Now, if you've never seen one of these things, they're pretty cool. If I can do it without, look over there. See, it locks into place like right there. So now you have this and your bait's on this end. If anything comes along and knocks it, it just pulls it right up, which is fantastic. It's a self-reeling system. that's it for the fishing kit. Now I mentioned that I do like to put these in the 3400 kits because they're waterproof and they fit my system that I have worked out. And the thing that I like to do is have the morale patch identifying the box on the front, and on the back having the male part of the Velcro. Now the male part of the Velcro is used for a specific reason in my case. The male part allows me to attach to a hook and loop system in my bug out bag. So it'll just stick right there, which is really kind of why I got it. Now this is the VanQuest Falconeer 27. This is hands down my favorite bag. They don't make this size anymore because they went to a bigger model. But you know, my goal is to be able to literally take and use this as an inch bag. And with 2 kits or 3 kits of this size, being able to go on the inside and being able to see it real clearly, just being able to rip it out when I need them. I mean, it just makes sense to have them in these sizes. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe at WC. Still, once again, can't say subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm asking nicely. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.